Before we dive into another fantastic list, I'll just ask you please, if you don't mind, if you just hit that subscribe button and the notification bell icon so you'll know when we upload another great video here at Top Life Lists. And if any of these make your skin crawl, comment down below and let us know which one. Here we have 5 creepy tales from English folklore. Now, every culture all over the world has stories that are passed down from generation to generation. Serve lots of different purposes. They teach us how to live, they explain the world around us, and occasionally serve as warnings too. English folklore is amongst the most well known all over the world. Tales from King Arthur to garden gnomes. It shaped the folk culture of English speaking countries all over the world. There is another side to English folklore though, a darker side, full of unexplained mysteries and stories of the paranormal. These are the stories we're looking at today. Here we go. REDCAP. For hundreds of years, the continuous war between England and Scotland made the borders a lawless and dangerous place to be. Raiders frequently passed from one country into the other. They committed crimes they knew they couldn't be punished for when they returned home. Over time, lots of myths and legends about evil criminals and horrific deeds started up. Amongst these, there also appeared many stories of malevolent spirits and creatures who took advantage of the hostile land and wreaked havoc on people who lived there. One of these creatures was the REDCAP. He was a sinister being which took the form of an old man with iron shoes. He had long, unkempt hair, red eyes, thin fingers with nails like talons and long teeth, and of course, he wore a deep red hat. He prowled between the abandoned castles along the border. He would hunt for bodies left behind by war or raiding, and use their blood to dye his cap. If there were no bodies, he'd lie in wait in the old ruins, looking for unfortunate travellers, people who were lost. He would kill them with a rock. Whilst REDCAP sounds scary, there was a way of defeating him. It's said that if someone recited the scriptures in front of him or brandished a crucifix, he would scream in pain and disappear in a ball of fire, leaving one long, ragged tooth behind. Drake's drum. Sir Francis Drake, he accomplished a lot during his lifetime. As well as being the first Englishman to see the Pacific and circumnavigate the world, he performed many feats of skill in his career as a privateer, particularly by defeating the Spanish Armada in 1588 and putting an end to Spain's hopes of invading mainland England. Drake is undoubtedly an English hero, but there are also many dark tales that have followed him. For example, it is believed that he elicited the support of the devil in order to beat the Spanish. In his final days, he was said to have ranted and raved deliriously in words that no one cared to record. Shortly after his death, one of his friends wrote a poem in his honour, which seemed to hint that in its time of dire need he will return to save England and again usher in a new age of glory. This led to the rise of a popular myth surrounding Drake's drum, an artefact which was kept on display until recently in his home of Buckland Abbey. According to the legend, in times of hardship or peril, the drum can be heard beating. People are said to have heard it beating in the Napoleonic Wars as well as both World Wars. In recent times, the drum's been moved to a secure, climate-controlled location to keep it safe. A replica now sits in its original place. WILLO the Wisp, also known as WILLO the Torch or Jack-o'-lantern. It is a softly glowing light that often appears at dusk or early night in marshes and swamps, though occasionally they do appear elsewhere too. References to these mysterious lights appear in folklore across the world and have particular prevalence in cold, wet England. According to the myth, they are often found along out-of-the-way paths, luring travellers who are lost along the road. Depending on how the traveller treats the wisp, they may lead them to safety or even to treasure, but most of the time the wisp is a malevolent creature seeking to lead the unsuspecting to their doom. In Celtic myth, the wisp is a light carried by a fairy or other mischievous spirit, who will blow it out once the traveller is well and truly lost. In some myths, the named character Will or Jack was an individual who led an extremely wicked life. When he died, he was cursed to roam the world forever. The devil gave him a single hot coal to warm himself. He obviously used this coal then to make a lantern, which he now uses to lead people to their deaths. Others think the spirits or paranormal beings, they have the power to predict the future, sometimes appearing before a local tragedy happens. GYTRASH. The countryside of Yorkshire is one of the most mysterious and least travelled parts of Britain, even today. The expansive hills are crisscrossed by ancient pathways that have been used for hundreds and hundreds of years. As a result, it's very easy to get lost there, especially if the traveller is not familiar with the area. The wilds of Yorkshire are stalked by all manner of mysterious beings, from hobgoblins to wailing spirits. The GYTRASH was one of the most dangerous spirits said to live in Yorkshire. Often appearing as a black dog or a mule, the horse usually had fiery red eyes. It would haunt out of the way paths at sunset in search of travellers who were lost. The traveller would follow the GYTRASH only to be led further astray, to become totally lost. Once the traveller was at its mercy, the GYTRASH would either attack or just disappear, leaving the lost voyager alone, lost on a dark, lonely road. However, occasionally the GYTRASH will also be a benevolent figure, leading lost people back to civilization. Famously, the GYTRASH makes an appearance in Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, when she's scared by a solitary horse following her down the road. The Beast of BODMIN Moor. BODMIN Moor lies in the southwest of England. It's a place infamous for sightings of unusual and paranormal things. It's sparsely populated and dotted with ancient ruins from the Neolithic period onward. Many locals consider the whole area to be haunted. Beast of BODMIN Moor, however, is not thought to be a ghost but a large black cat that stalks the highlands and attacks its livestock. The stories first began in around 1978, alongside several reports of animals being found mutilated. Some speculated that it must be a large panther that's escaped from somebody's private zoo, but since it would have been kept illegally, the owner didn't report it missing. As time went on and sightings continued, however, people began to look for other explanations. Some now think there might be a whole family of black cats roaming BODMIN Moors. Others say they are descendants of ancient black cats which used to stalk Britain in the distant past. There have been over 60 reported sightings of the beast in BODMIN Moor over the years, enough to interest the UK government apparently, which conducted an official investigation into the sightings in 1995. After the investigation, they concluded that there was no definitive evidence of an unusual beast living on the moor, but they couldn't explain the attacks on the livestock which carry on happening today. Sightings of the beast continue to this day too, with no definitive explanation found as of yet. Boggarts. These were made famous by J.K. Rowling, who featured them in her Harry Potter novels. They were featured as evil creatures who took the form of whatever the victim fears the most. In English folklore though, a boggart was a kind of evil creature which attached itself to families or households and was a nuisance. According to traditional tales, boggarts loved to hide in dark spaces, such as unused attics or cellars and cupboards or under beds. They are sometimes described as shapeshifters. Boggarts were the source of many misfortunes in the home. They broke things, they turned food sour or rotten, they made the house creak, banging, you name it, these things were responsible for it. Boggarts were also notoriously difficult to get rid of, following families from place to place even if they moved house. People were warned not to name their boggart, because once it was named it would become even more powerful and angry and much harder to remove. There are many similarities between the boggart and a modern idea of a poltergeist, the main difference being that a boggart wasn't a ghost but a malevolent fairy or other mythical creature. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit that notification bell so you know when we upload another video, and please leave a comment below. Which one would you like to meet on a dark, scary, wet, cold English night?